Welcome back, dear students. BA 6 semester. We were doing paper 2, modern literature, that is fiction and prose, unit 1. Last time we did lecture 1, and today we are going to start up with lecture 2. Again, the same positions of social and intellectual background. Last time we did about the understanding the rise and development of modern prose, how it is being developed from that time in this modern period of time. Then who were the modern novelists of prose? We did about Joseph Conrad, Marcel Proust, James Joyce, Franz Kafka, and William Faulkner. Now, as per the course, today we are going to discuss a very important fact in lecture 2. We will be discussing about the E.M. Forster, who is one of the greatest writer, novelist. So how he has started his journey and in what forms, till what end he just get to, we will learn everything about it. So E.M. Forster, in full, Edward Morgan Forster, who was born in January 1, 1879 in London, England, and died in June 7, 1970, where Coventry, Warwickshire. Now he was one of the British novelists, essayists, and social and literary critics. His fame rests largely on his novels Hardward's End in 1910 and A Passage to India in 1924 on a very large body of criticism. So there in our course, we will be reading about E.M. Forster, who has written this novelist, A Passage to India in 1924. So we will be doing that also. Forster's father, an architect, died when the son was a baby, and he was brought by his mother and paternal aunts. At King's College, Cambridge, he enjoyed a sense of liberation. For the first time, he was free to follow his own intellectual inclinations, and he gained a sense of the uniqueness of the individual, of the healthiness of moderate skepticism, and of the importance of Mediterranean civilization as a counterbalance to the more strict lax attitudes of modern European countries. So it was very beautifully described that how he has been brought by his mother and where he joined his studies about. Then Foster decided to devote his life to writing. After his attitudes of the northern European countries, and after seeing that he has been into the College of Cambridge and he has enjoyed the sense of liberation there, and for the first time he followed his own intellectual inclination. So thereafter he decided to devote his life to writing. His first novel and short story was redolent of an age when was shaking off the shackles of Victorianism. The novel sustained the cult of the heart's affection and was the central to that tradition. But they also share the first romantics of concern for the status of man in nature and for imaginative life. A certain that remains important to an age that he has turned against other aspects of romanticism. Then Forster in his life also spent 3 wartime years in Alexandria doing civilian war work and visited India twice in 1912, 1913 and 1921. When he returned to the former themes in his post-war novel A passage to India he wrote, which was being written in 1924. They presented themselves in negative form against the vaster scale of India, in which the earth itself seems alien. A resolution between it and the imagination could appear as most impossible to achieve. Only Adela Quested, a young girl who is the most open to experience, can glimpse their responsible possible concords, and then only momentarily in the count room during the trial at which she is the central witness. Now, in the courtroom, she was the only witness who was all watching this, and most of the novel is devoted to less spectral values. Which novel? Here it is being talked about a passage to India, which was about devoted to the less spectral values, those of seriousness and truthfulness. In addition to essay, short stories, and novels, Forster wrote a bibliography, or you could say a biography, of his great aunt, Marianne Totten, in 1956. He wrote a documentary account of his Indian experience, where he visited for the two times. Then, The Hill of Devi in 1953, and Alexandria, a history and a guide in 1922, The New End in 1961. Marais, a novel with a homosexual theme, was published posthumously in 1971 but written many years earlier. There are other works also which was being there, but here it is only being described in a very short to let you know about the work of, or you could say the biography of his own, how he has started his work of journey, where he has born, where he died, and what were the greatest novels he wrote. So the thing which was a very large body of the criticisms in his life was when he visited to India, and after that from here he gone and wrote a novel based on India, A Passage to India, in 1924. So here I have only discussed a very few points of E.M. Forster's life just to make you people clear and get it through. In this lecture we will be discussing this much. Go through it once, understand the questions and write down the answers. That's all for today.